Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. We are live. It is Startup Coffee. We are back. We're going to wait a few minutes for everyone to join us. So excited. Where's your coffee? That's boring. You don't
I
have
finished.
coffee?
You told me I wasn't allowed to have my cup on.
You can have coffee. It's coffee, not startup water. It's startup coffee. We have coffee. Some of us have coffee.
I finished my coffee. I have a muffin.
No, we're not doing muffins. Good morning. We're going to wait a few minutes for people to join. We're so excited about coffee today. We have some amazing guests to bring on. We have a lot of things going on. We took the month of July off to kind of regroup, and we're excited to share with you everything we have going on, introduce you to some of our new staff, and tell you all about it. And we have like a half a ceiling, things like that. Just things like that are exciting to the world. Got like a little sunroof sky thing going. It's great. It's great. Good morning, Becky. Good morning, Anna. So good to see you guys. We're going to get rocking and rolling in just a minute. Tell us where you're coming in from. We'll do introductions and all the things in just a minute. It's August, y'all. Where'd the year go? It's August. August. We have hot coffee. You guys, look at our mural. No one's seen the mural unless you've been in here. We have Ficus or Ficus. We don't know what his name is today.
Ficus.
It's Ficus. He's joining us. It's a good time. It's early in the morning, but we're here for it. We don't have our slides ready, so we'll get those. Good morning, Heather. Yep.
You just have to. It's a good day.
It's a good day. It's coffee. Like, everyone's here for coffee. Make sure you have your own coffee because we're not supplying any today. That's not what we're doing. Soon, though. Soon. Welcome. We're going to go ahead and get started. And everybody else, just watch the replay. It's going to be amazing. I promise you. So good morning and welcome to August edition of Startup Coffee. We're going to go through some housekeeping and tell you all the events that are going on. And then we're going to introduce you to our amazing guests that got up early to be here with us this morning. So you want to take it from here, Channing?
Sure. So we have August Startup Labs coming up on August 10th next week from 3 to 5 p.m. It'll be virtual this month. We only have, 3 more spots left. So if you want to get in now. Really exciting. If not, you'll have to wait until September, which is coming up fast anyway. We have the Startup Tucson Sprint Challenge, which is a really cool federal grant that allowed us to build the Launch Lab, which is a super fun makerspace. We're also going to be running an e-commerce masterclass, a prototyping masterclass, and then we're working with the Arizona Commerce Authority to build a statewide commercialization mentor network. Really cool, exciting things happening for our movers and shakers.
Yes. So if you, the Launch Lab, the e-commerce masterclass, the prototyping, if you're interested in that, make sure you go to startuptucson.com/sprint challenge. And then for the mentoring network, you're going to have access to mentors all over the state. So that's very important for us to fill the gaps that we see here, but also for you guys to be able to access mentors that you probably normally wouldn't have access to. And then we have my favorite, the farmers.
So we're running the Startup Tucson Food Accelerator and Food Programs, known as Food Forward. This includes Recipes for Success, our accelerator, which starts on September 13th. Applications are open right now. We have an info session about it next week on August 11th. And we already have 13 applications. We're going to cap it at 20. So slide right in if you want to get in there. We're also building free websites for people who make food stuff, whether you're a grower or a value-added food producer or any sort of that stuff. We have a website for you. And then we are also working with Visit Tucson and Simpleview to build a virtual tour of gastronomy, which is going to start kind of like a virtual farmers market. And then we'd like to expand it to feature all of our awesome regional food producers. So if any of that is of interest to you, startuptucson.com/foodforward.
And then our ecosystem guide. We've been promoting this for a whole year. It is fantastic. Everyone loves it. But now we're adding on some professional services. We've gotten so many people interested in offering their services. So instead of you signing up and paying a fee, have one of your entrepreneurs nominate you for professional services. That opens on Friday. So if you want to be a part of our professional services, make sure to have one of your clients or entrepreneurs that you have worked with nominate your business, and then we will get back in touch. And then there is an amazing giveaway. Dre talked about it a little bit yesterday, but let's get into it a little bit more. Go ahead, Channing, take it away.
So we are working with Tucson Media Studios. Evan Gray over there put together a great, amazing $10,000 valued package that includes a social media engagement package of 4 videos, a commercial, and a digital marketing package of 10 topical videos answering your customers' most common questions. This is part of our work that we're doing to help Tucson come back strong after the pandemic. Well, in the pandemic. And
we're in it.
Yeah, so check that out. It just started yesterday. You can go to TucsonMediaStudio.com/giveaway for more information and to apply.
And so over the last couple months, our team has grown a lot. It is not just the 4 of us any longer. We have 3 new people plus 2 interns. We have Angelique, and she is working more in the media lab and marketing. And we have Free, who's working on education, as well as tag teaming in the media lab. And then we have John, who is phenomenal. So make sure you stop by and see John. And John is working on a secret project we have not released yet, but will be coming out soon, that we are working with CIC on. So more to that, but make sure you stop by, wave through the window because we're not open, or send an email and say hi to our new team. So that brings us to introductions. So drop your introduction in the comment. We want to know who you are, what your business is, what you do for fun, and how you like your coffee. And let us know all about you. We miss having you guys in person, and hopefully we can have you in person soon. Maybe in the coming up months, we'll let you guys know, but drop everything in the comments for now. And that brings us to our special guest. So the Community BIPOC Loan Fund, which was brainchild of Danny and some other people, but Community Investment Corporation is spearheading this along with partners like Black Friday and Startup Tucson. And so today we wanted to bring them on to talk more about it because applications are open. And now is the time for you to apply. Now is the time for you to get to know more about it and learn about the committee that is behind this whole thing. So I'm going to start bringing people on and let them introduce themselves, and then we're going to jump into it. Good morning, Danny. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Ashley. Good morning, Isabel. All right, Danny, tell us a bit about Loan Fund and why it's important.
Sure. So I'm Danny Nee. I'm the executive director of Community Investment Corporation. Basically, the idea for this fund came about shortly after the murder of George Floyd, and our staff wanted to do something a little. We wanted to do something very concrete. We didn't want to just put out a statement. So what we decided to do is do something within our core competency. And we're one of the things we do is alternative lending to support small businesses in Tucson, and micro lending. And so our staff came up with this idea of starting a community managed BIPOC loan fund. And they actually, at the time, we had 11 staff. They all donated. We raised the first $2,700 internally. Our organization then matched that up to $10,000. We then went out and pitched this idea to some in the community, and Tucson Electric Power very graciously gave us $30,000 of seed money. Cox Communications was an early donor, BBVA. And so we've built it there, and we now have $100,000 for a community managed loan fund. We'll talk, I'm sure, more about the details in a moment, but I'll let everybody else introduce themselves, if that's all right.
Okay. Let's go through introductions. Terrell, please introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself and your business.
Cool. I'm Terrell Henry. I'm an artist. I work on Black Friday, social media, graphic design, and also am the co-founder of a creative organization called Creative Collab. So I like to do anything in the media realm, marketing, graphic design, and community projects. So it's definitely been a pleasure working with these great people on this amazing project. So I'm looking forward to talking more about it.
Thank you for being here this morning, Terrell. Isabel, please introduce yourself. You're on mute.
Hi, good morning. Working with Clinical Side here. Isabel Georgelis with Georgelis Group Consulting, and very pleased to be here and be part of this program. Again, when just to plug Danny again, when he called and said, "Hey, we're working on something special," I dropped everything to be a part of it, and so happy to be here to share the work.
Thank you, Isabel. You, Ashley, please introduce yourself.
Hello, good morning. Thank you, Startup Tucson. I'm Ashley LaRussa, founder and owner of Rue Events, an event management company that focuses in on diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. I'm also the project lead at Black's Friday, the largest accessible directory of Black businesses in the state of Arizona. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. Lisa, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lisa Sesmagay, and I am the Executive Director of Community Relations at Casino del Sol. So I deal a lot with sponsorships and donations, and I am so excited to be part of this project with all of you all.
Thank you. Channing, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Channing. I am one of the project coordinators here at Startup Tucson, and I'm stoked to be here this morning.
We forgot to introduce ourselves because we've had a month off, but we're going to get it together. I am Kenesha Raymond. I am the program manager here at Startup Tucson. So I want to know what brought everyone to the table. I know why I came. I was very excited to see something different here in Tucson. Very excited for it to be accessible to entrepreneurs who may have not had access to anything, as well as funding, but also because it's different, and it's different because of the committee. So I want to know why everyone else came to the table, and feel free to unmute yourself and jump in. I'll go. You guys go.
Before this, I was working with the Tucson Hispanic Chamber, and when the pandemic hit, it was. Can you hear me? Yes. When the pandemic hit, obviously resources and everything became available, and working with small businesses in our community, it was very evident the disparity that occurred. I'm happy many businesses were helped, but the sad truth is many businesses missed out on resources. And so it was, helping people day and night, trying to get support was daunting and sad to see the impact to our business community. I think we all agree that small business is an integral part of our ecosystem and our economic health. And so being able to provide access to funding to small businesses that can make the difference between them staying open or not was very inspiring to me. And I was thrilled to be a part of this program.
Thank you, Isabel.
Yeah.
Okay, not everybody jump in at once. Like, this is morning talk show time. Like, this is like, good morning, Tucson. So anybody jump in, do your thing.
Well, I know that, we sort of came up and started the process of reaching out, Kenesha, but one of the reasons that we're involved is that there is just an incredible amount of disparity in capital access for BIPOC entrepreneurs and business owners. That also includes women. I flippantly say in many presentations I make that if you're not a white dude, then capital access has probably underserved you in this country. The statistics around it are damning, and there are a lot of issues, economic issues. So I'm somebody who believes that, the lack of equality is a moral issue as well. But for those who want to make the economic argument, basically, when you look in the country, 37% of our population is BIPOC, yet only 15% of business owners are BIPOC. The deck is stacked against them. That disparity costs our it costs our economy $2.5 trillion annually and 3 to 5% GDP. So especially when you look at a time, the pandemic, when the economy is already struggling, the fact that we leave so much innovation and so much economic power on the sidelines because we're not investing in our BIPOC entrepreneurs at a rate that's similar to that of our white population. This is a real economic problem. People should see it that way. And so we're about expanding access to capital. We work within the system at CIC. Our whole deal is, capitalism can be incredibly powerful. It can do a lot of good, but it leaves too many people out. And what we're trying to do is make sure that everybody gets to participate in the benefits of it. And that is part of why we began the process. And then also understanding from a place of humility that if we're going to start a BIPOC loan fund, I'm not sure that I am the right person for that. That we need to have people, the BIPOC community, tell us what their experience is. I come from a lending background. I'm going to do things relatively the same way that our financial institutions already do things. And I think we see where the outcomes come from that. If we continue to do the same thing and expect a different outcome, everybody's heard that that's the definition of insanity, and we need to do something different. And so we are doing exactly that, something wildly different in the way that we're approaching capital access for BIPOC entrepreneurs.
Thank you, Danny. Anybody else want to piggyback on that before we move on?
I think for me, it was just like the impact. When Ashley brought it up to our Black Friday team, I felt that a project like this would be very impactful. It was something I haven't done before. So just being able to be a part of something, this big or, with this much of a scope on these entrepreneurs and business owners and having that effect, moving forward was really inspiring for me. So it's definitely been like a passion project for me. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Terrell. That brings me to the creation process. I feel like we've been doing it for 5,000 years, but it's only been since January that we jumped in and started creating this. So I want to open it up to the floor to talk about how this process is different for entrepreneurs that are applying, and what went into it as we kind of put it together to understand what would make it accessible to all.
I'll contribute to that question there. I feel what sets us aside from other opportunities in traditional lending is the story of the person that's applying. Having an opportunity of hearing from them directly and hearing what their needs are and how they may have fallen in the gap with opportunities. The way we set it up as well was using the term BIPOC versus using minority. Which I'm hoping is something that we see nationwide, because that term alone really bears its own sort of discrimination when it comes to hearing the term minority and feeling lesser than. And so firstly, starting there and then moving into what CIC formed into that community managed terminology, being that the committee itself is representative of those who would be applying. And so that really is setting us apart from the beginning. And then the application itself, making it more accessible on all fronts versus just being, written form or writing it down or verbal. Having the opportunity of recording yourself was a wonderful suggestion that Kanisha had in one of our meetings. And so all of these pieces coming together to really build the story of the individual that is looking for capital, looking for opportunity, I think really sets us aside from other opportunities that are out there.
Thank you, Ashley. I think one of my favorite parts of the application is when you get to check a box. So normally we check Black, white, not Hispanic, or something like that. And it's very much accessible to everyone. Like, you tell us exactly who you are. And that was like one of my favorite parts. And we went back and forth and Ashley broke it down for us one time. And we were all able to get it. And I've heard so much feedback on just that part from people that have been applying, and they really appreciate it. So thank you for that. Lisa?
I think that the creativity that we all brought together. I mean, we're just a bunch of different people with different daily jobs, and just the creativity of even doing the application in a more inclusive type of way that is really, appeals to people. Normally, I wouldn't want to do an application that checks a box or so tedious. And I think that we came up with a really creative way to so that people can express themselves and express their businesses. So I was just really excited about that piece, and just being in the creative space. I mean, all of you all are so creative and think outside the box, and it was a little intimidating at first, but I think we meshed very well, and for the good of the BIPOC community.
Yes. Anyone else? Thank you, Lisa.
Just to reinforce what the ladies said, I think that word empowerment is threaded through the whole process. Many times you go and apply and it's diminishing. Right away you just start to feel like you're diminished. And I think this experience will be empowering because you start to really, as you're articulating and expressing yourself, you're actually, I think it's building more confidence in, yes, I'm doing this and I'm going to go through this process and I can express myself and speak to the passion. And again, I think as Lisa and Ashley and all of you shared, it's empowering, it's inclusive, and it's considering people where they are. So I really loved this process.
Thank you.
I think some of the things that are also really different is, and has been said, is story first. So one of the things, instead of finance first, past financial performance first, what's your credit score? What are your assets? Those types of things, which are really problematic. What we do is we put story first. And if we haven't gone through the selection process yet, but when the committee does that, and again, CIC is only doing administration. It's the committee. I'm not part of the committee. The committee will make all the loan decisions. They came up with all the eligibility criteria, all the underwriting, how the application is written. We've supported with administrative pieces along the way. But I think that's really, we say flipping the script. That's what it is. So somebody will basically be decided as to whether they're going to get a loan, and then they have to commit to some things. But it's those things, if they aren't a formalized business yet, we'll help them become a formalized business. We'll help them do those things, but those aren't prerequisites. Additionally, I think something that's a big change, and I admit that it's partly symbolic, is that we are paying the first 50 applicants $100 to apply, because we know that it takes time and effort to put together these applications. And also it can be, it's certainly what I heard when I was listening to the committee, it can be a scary process. I think Isabel put it a good way, diminishing in a lot of ways in a typical format. And what this says is that your time is worth something. We're not sitting here, you have to do all this work and come in front of a lender like is typical, and they decide whether you're worthy or not. And, you cross your fingers and hope you've done everything right. That isn't the approach. I think it's a really different approach that we're taking.
I think one of the things that stood out when we were creating this application was how do we put it out there? Is it on paper? Is it in video? And one of the things that came up is you can sing your application. You don't have to just say it. You don't have to write it down. If you're creative and you want to sing to us, that will make us so happy. So make sure you take the time to really figure out how you want to do this application, because it's so open. For you to do what you need to do and for you to feel comfortable in that space. My next question is, most of us on here are creatives. So if you wanted to apply for this loan and you were nervous, what would you tell another entrepreneur or creative?
I would probably tell them to just believe in their vision and believe in their story, like believe in themselves. That's kind of like something I've talked to people about, and that's probably the approach that I would take, since it is storytelling. That's just like bet on yourself, bank on yourself, and just trust that the vision that you have for yourself is worthy of, whatever you want. And I think that's just something you have to believe going into it. Granted, it may be difficult, but I think that would be my tip.
Thank you, Terrell.
I would say this is for us, finally being seen, to see something that spells out Black, Indigenous, people of color. It just sounds as if, we are directly approaching an audience that may not have been approached directly in the past. Not to say there hasn't been opportunities in the past, but it's a more direct approach. And so I would just go, if you haven't had a chance of applying for anything else, please do apply for this, because this is for you.
Thank you. Okay, I want to get into like the nitty-gritty of the application, because there's so much that goes into the back end of it. But how is it, and I'm gonna come to you, Danny, when they apply for this loan fund, can you tell us more about the process, as well as what the loan is and kind of the back end of what goes on behind it?
Sure. So let's start with probably something that people want to know is like, what is the loan? So we are doing loans up to $10,000. We consider those micro loans. That's what they're called in this space. It is at 0% interest. There are no fees. So there is no cost to the applicant in terms of what the loan will cost them outside of the repayment of the loan. General terms are going to be 3 years. In special cases, we may go out to 5 years. Again, we want to make sure that these loans are affordable. Another word that I like to use, this is a non-extractive loan. I think the part of the problem is in too many parts of our economy, especially with people that are at lower socioeconomic levels and BIPOC or not, that we can be capitalism can be incredibly extractive, can take the very last bits, charge people more money. People who can't get bank loans get charged higher rates, those types of things. And because this is not a profit motivated type of loan, we're lending out at 0%. So those are the best parts. There's no collateral that needs to be pledged. That's also obviously different. It's an unsecured loan that people will be getting. So it's about as favorable terms as you can come across. But this is also not without precedent. There are alternative forms of lending that use what they call character-based underwriting. Kiva.org, who we also have a partnership with, is one that does work like that. So while this is new, it's also not unheard of to eschew all the financial pieces, credit scores, and those types of things to make loan decisions. In terms of applying, we have the online application. And again, we've tried to make it as broad as possible. I think one of my favorite parts is the video part where all of the committee members are actually asking you the questions. Everybody had their day, where they were ready for their close-up and got to ask the questions. And then you're able to answer those questions via video, via audio, or also text in a regular manner. I'm a creative writing guy, and I have a face made for radio, so I may not have gone for the video part. I may have relied on text if I was applying for this, but it allows opportunities. Just basically, I think what somebody has said, and we said, wherever you are at, whatever your strength is, we want you to put that forward. And we are focused on the story. The idea is, tell us why this is a can't miss. Tell us how this is, how starting a business has changed your life, has changed your family's life, or may in the future. Tell us how you're going to take over the world. That's what we want to hear. We want to hear, and we want to feel the passion that people have for their business and what they're doing. And again, we're trying to get through some of the typical barriers. I think that was eye-opening for me, quite honestly, to listen to the stories about people's individual journeys with debt, and or families' perceptions of debt, and we're trying to overcome a lot of that in the approach that we're taking. And I say we. It's actually not me. It's, again, the committee came up with all the rules. I'm just a part of this in the administration piece. So basically, people are going to apply. It's a cohort model. We thought that for, and again, I say we, I'm going to use the collective we, and please know, I really mean the committee. We came up with the idea that there's learning to be done and support that can be had through a cohort model, especially as this is new to us as well. So we approach the work with humility. We know we may have to adjust some things over time, but so that's why we have the application is open until August 20th. And at that point, all the applications will be gathered and they're going to be reviewed by the committee, and they'll be making the decisions. But we believe that the business owners then can mutually support each other. The committee has approached it with that humility too, to say, hey, we're probably going to learn a lot through reviewing these applications. We're hoping for a certain thing, but we don't know exactly what is going to come forward from this. And so we may need to make adjustments based on it. So that cohort model, I think, is also really interesting. It's a revolving loan fund. So all this money, as it gets paid back, will revolve back to help other business owners. And what we say at CIC is pay it back to pay it forward. You basically are becoming, in some ways, the next donor, the next investor. By paying back your loan, you're the next investor in the next business that is going to be helped by this. So those are some of the sort of details that we've kind of worked out. There is a way, to go and preview the questions to make sure that you're ready. Take your time, get ready. If you're doing video or audio, you may want to prepare something. That's great. If you want to go freestyle, that's awesome too. Like, we have no problem with that either. But again, we're just trying to reach people with where they're at, and again, have them play to their strengths. Tell us, this is what I say sometimes in interview questions, even when I interview staff, is, so what question didn't we ask that you wish we would have, because you were prepared to kill it with that question and you guys never asked me about it? So this is a place. You tell us what is amazing about you, about the people you work with, about your business, about, again, why it's a can't miss. That's what we want to hear from people.
Thank you, Danny. We talked a lot about entrepreneurship out of necessity and not just being an entrepreneur. How do you guys feel that this loan would change a small business from beginning, or to scale that business, or just change their family and the community?
I feel that it's a positive, it'll change it for the positive. I see a lot of food trucks, maybe they want a brick and mortar, and they just can't get to that point. Like, they just need that extra little push, and it would do so much more for them and their family. They'd have more employees to help work, so they have more time with their family, or they can bring their family to join along at work. I just feel that it's just a more positive way to make more money, increase their family wealth, and to give people great food. And I'm all about food.
Thank you, Lisa. Anyone else?
I believe that the 10,000 would be beneficial, because the majority of entrepreneurs, especially startups, as we know, are bootstrapping and looking towards their family and friends, and aren't traditionally going to banks because they don't want to pay that interest. And so a 0% interest, and something that you can pay back in its full principal, will truly help to have that liquid in any business, in any sort of industry. Even if you aren't brick and mortar, you can really build up your inventory if you are going that e-commerce route. So it's just, banking, having that money available to build, and having it on your own terms, as it were, without having to ask, is truly a benefit for the business.
Ashley, I'm going to come back to you, because we talked a lot about who we're going to serve. Like, who are the people that get this loan? Can you go into in depth a little bit more? Because I know most people think brick and mortar, and you just brought it up. So if you can go a little bit more in depth of who can get this loan.
Absolutely, yes. It's across all industries. And so, of course, we are looking at CIC's guidelines when it comes to who will be the benefactors. So know if you are, having a business in gambling or any sort of alcohol sales, we're most likely not going in that route of business. But we are looking at those who are not necessarily looking for brick and mortar, but if you are online, what are you looking for? What do you need? Do you have that online presence? Is your website accessible? Do you have e-commerce set up to where you're able to receive payments? Do you have your QuickBooks set up so that those payments are easily cataloged? And so it's truly going through all of your business and going, wow, I now have the assets to pay towards these things that I may put off, that I may go, I don't have the funds to do, or I don't have the funds to hire a CPA to look after my books for me. And so it's truly giving a lot of power to that business owner to go, wow, how can I build up my business and then be able to pay it forward and pay it back so that that next business owner can then build up as well. And when I say across industries, we automatically, tend to look at IT or healthcare, but this is across the board. This is creative. This is your apparel. This is technology. This is food. This is also our barbers. This is also our beauticians. It's truly a community approach of what we're doing here locally. And as we all know, if we invest into these business owners, we're investing within Tucson to build as well.
Thank you, Ashley. Terrell?
Hey, yeah, I just think like one thing I always believe is like it takes money to make money. And, especially as an entrepreneur, like if you're not getting that from anywhere else, like you're kind of at a standstill. Like it's harder, to have those creative ideas because you're such in a box about your funding. So the people who may not be able to, apply for those bank loans for, whatever reason, again, this opens up an opportunity to, have access to that capital. And then also it's based on you as a person, like you as a business owner. And I think that's just like really, really, really impactful because, on paper, everything may not be, pretty. You may have made some mistakes or whatever, or you may not even have your business all the way together. And, it makes it harder to go and ask someone for stuff like that. So I know we are even appealing to, startups, kind of like Ashley was saying, like just applying or appealing to all across the board, like that can make a big difference to a person's business. And, like Lisa said, even their family, relieving that stress and, enabling that business to be able to build. So again, I just think it's a very beautiful and impactful project, and I'm happy to be a part of it. And I've worked with everyone on it.
Thank you, Terrell. I think one of the things, go ahead, Ashley.
I just wanted to go and piggyback back on what Lisa said about generational wealth and the fact that if this business is able to build up its own, wealth, and it can also pass that down, especially if it becomes a family-owned business, it truly is helping, and to Terrell's point as well, the impact within the community.
I think that's something we have not talked about. It's generational wealth, and it's something that in the Black community, we talk about a lot and how we can rebuild that. And with this loan and giving into businesses, how important is it for that to be passed down into generational wealth? Or how important is it for businesses to think about generational wealth now at the beginning stages?
So if I can maybe set a little bit of context too, Kenesha, before people answer that question, is 85% of businesses start with an individual's wealth or the wealth of friends and family. In our country, white families have 10 times the wealth of Black families and 5 times that of Latinx families. And so when we understand how businesses are started and wealth and assets are one of the ways they do it, we have people that are starting further back from the starting line than others are, and we can't ignore that. So generational wealth is a big deal. And one of the things about generational wealth that I will say also is that people think things like redlining are these things of like the past, and real estate and housing market was something that a lot of families, most of the wealth in the United States is actually held in a primary residence, outside of, the top 10% of people, but most of the rest of us, that's where our most of our wealth comes from. And it is not that long ago that those practices were allowed, they were legal. And then even after they've been made illegal, and even after we have certain restrictions and on banks in terms of the way they act, they find ways around doing that. They find ways around investing in poorer communities and people of lower socioeconomic status. And so it's a self-reinforcing system that we have. And so that contextually, I just want people to understand this idea of generational wealth, and people shouldn't act like, 40 years ago is such a long time ago. In generational wealth, what is that? 1.5 generations? Like, you're not talking about that long of a time to correct a system that was quite honestly racist for a very, very long time prior to that.
Thank you, Danny. Anyone else want to jump in? Oh, we all got quiet this morning. What? Ashley, even Ashley's face, she was like, yep, that's it. Danny dropped the mic. Thank you, Danny. Thank you. Okay, guys, start dropping your questions in the chat, and we will take a few more questions. I want to ask, how would someone who is just starting a business that has no assets, what are we doing to help them in applying and getting their business off the ground and getting their QuickBooks set up? How are we helping them do that?
Well, a number of the resources that we're making available to the applicants, I believe, is also something that's very innovative. Really supplying them with information from CIC and partners like Startup Tucson when it comes to how to create your P&L, how to go about tracking and your overall budget when you're looking at your business, and how to set up your account if you don't have a banking account, and where you could possibly set that account up at. And so instead of taking a barrier and just making it a shutdown, sorry, you can't apply, we can't help you, it's actually opening a door into more education when it comes to business practices.
Thank you, Ashley. Anyone else?
We have some technical assistance in-house because of the work that we do. But I think another thing that I'm really hopeful for is that we can attract mentors, and we can attract BIPOC mentors. Again, I do think from the process, my own learning that I went through in working with the committee is understanding my experience is a different experience than many of the people on this call. And so I'm really hopeful that people see the need for this community managed loan fund, that they embrace the approach, the fact that we're turning decision making over to the BIPOC community. And I hope that successful BIPOC business owners, and we have several that are on this call already, but also kind of come and want to support and help people. I know that the approach that was taken and what I heard throughout all our conversations over the 6 months that we built this program was, how do we support people? How do we, it's that idea of not saying like, nope, you're not ready. It's like, okay, you might have a little work to do. Let's do that work with you. Let's help you do that work that you need to get ready for this. And so I truly am hopeful that people want to invest in this, that people want to donate to it, and that people also want to come and share their expertise as those of us in the nonprofit community, your time, your talent, and your treasure. That's what we are hoping, that people flock to this approach that we have and share all three of those with us.
Thank you, Danny. We are on the hunt for mentors. So if you are a mentor who identifies as BIPOC, please reach out. You can either email any of us or fill out our form on startuptucson.com. I think it's /mentoring. And we will make sure that those mentors get pushed more towards the committee. I want to see if there's anything you want to leave us with. Ashley, do not speak until the end. We're going to let Ashley just bring us all together towards the end because she knows how to do that. But is there anything else that you guys want to leave us with, that you want to let the community know and kind of share your journeys maybe?
I just want to kind of say what has been said most of this conversation is not to be scared. I think that that's really big. Is just don't be scared and just do it. And if this is something that you have been dreaming about, like you've been, you are the answer to the prayers from your elders, like they want you to succeed. And I feel that you need to just do it. So don't be scared and just do it.
Terrell.
To piggyback off of that, again, this is an amazing opportunity. Definitely take full advantage of it. The committee is definitely willing and able to help any and everyone who, wants to reach out or wants to be a part of this now and moving forward. And also, I'm doing a back to school drive. So if anybody wants to donate or give back to that, just go to creativecollabs.org/upcoming for more information, or just send me a message and I'll get you some more information. So thank
Terrell,
you.
can you put that in the chat for us too, so they can?
Yes, I got you.
Thank you. Channing, do you have any questions? Anything? Channing is running our food program. So I like to call it Farmers Only, but it's called Food Forward. Channing has been sending a ton of entrepreneurs to the BIPOC Loan Fund. And so it's been exciting for her to get to see the back end of it and how it's going forward. Do you have any questions for anyone about your entrepreneurs and who you should send? It's up to you, Channing. This is your moment.
Put me on the spot here, Kanisha. My goodness. In the chat and from our panelists here, if y'all have any ideas on people that would benefit from going to the Food Accelerator, would benefit from a website, that's a really big one. We're working with Brink Media on that. Forgot to see that earlier. They're doing great helping us out there. And also the virtual tour of gastronomy, because local and heritage food producers are a huge reason that we are a city of gastronomy, and really want to highlight that and make sure that we're giving people credit where credit's due, because historically we're not great at that.
And I can say we have a lending partnership with the Community Food Bank of Southern Arizona to support food entrepreneurs around food security. And so that's a loan. It's a below market rate, 3% interest loan product that we do with them. So that's also another potential resource for food entrepreneurs. I know that Isabel lost her sound. And so she did have a comment on generational wealth topic, and I don't know if this is her wrap up, but she said that generational wealth begins with building confidence and gaining and then paying off loans. Once you begin, you build skills and knowledge in how to manage and leverage financing resources to go forward, and you lose that fear. So I didn't say it as articulately as I'm sure she would have, but I did want to give that in because she put that in our chat.
Thank you, Isabel. I have a comment here, and I want to bring it up because I think it's something we talked about as we were building this. Coming from extreme poverty, it's been stigmatized to borrow money or acquire a loan. Anyone want to jump in on that really quickly? Because I want to value your time, but I think that's something that has come up a lot, even bringing this loan forward.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's something that we definitely valued a lot, as business owners, growing up in these families. We know traditionally, the odds are, stacked against us. But again, this is why we want to bring this forward and have this program set up how it is, to where, we're looking to not do, what has traditionally been done and, flip the script, as Danny has said before. So again, I just think it's really important to, look into this. And I'm glad that we're able to show ourselves as the committee, so people see that, okay, here we are telling you that, we're here to make a difference. We're here to make a change, and we want to make an impact. So again, just hopefully everybody really takes advantage of that and doesn't allow, the past stigmatisms to continue to hold us back.
Thank you, Terrell. Ashley, we're going to close with you because, Danny dropped the mic earlier, but we're going to let you close out the show.
Well, I'm going to definitely quote one of our founders here in Tucson, Desiree Cook from IMU 360. We are better together. And so as we have formed this committee with all of our individual ideas, all of our experiences and background, we brought that to this application and opportunity and fund for BIPOC entrepreneurs. And so it's such a beautiful sight to see this panel itself and all of us on here exploring what we can do with this community. I'm not going to drop the mic like Danny. I'm just going to celebrate that we're all here together in this, really concerned front to really help this community out and look at our finances and see how we can build up entrepreneurship. And then I'll also do a very gentle plug that you should download Blacks Friday. The app is available on iOS and Android, so you can search all Black-owned businesses here in the state of Arizona. And there is a category for food. So we definitely have a number of food entrepreneurs and business owners that would benefit from a number of these resources. Thank you. Hashtag Blacks Friday.
Thank you, Ashley. This is just a small part of our committee. We're missing some people today. And so make sure you go on CIC's website, or Community Investment Corporation's website, to check out our full panel of committee members, so you can get to know more about us and what we're doing. And you may know a lot of us that are on that committee. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to any one of us individually, or I believe there is a question and answer submission form on the website. There for sure is a timeline on the website. So applications opened on July 19th. Applications closed on August 20th. We will review those said applications. And what is the date that we will call people, Danny?
That's a great question. Jenny Grable, who's not on the call, actually knows that. It won't be that long afterwards. It will probably take us a couple weeks to figure that out. So sometime in September, we'll get that. We do beg everybody's patience a little bit. Again, understand that this is new for us as well. So we want to make sure that we're doing this the right way. And, if there are any hiccups or things like that, we'll work on them. But I think sometime in early September. And our website is cictucson.org. This is highlighted right on our homepage. So it's easy to get to. Even if you don't have the whole backslash and all that kind of stuff, you can find it pretty easily from our homepage.
Okay, that's the website, guys. I dropped it right there on the screen. We will make sure to put this back in our comments in the top so you have it. The other thing is, understand that as we're going through this application, each and every one of us are looking at every application. So it's not going to one person. We are, as a committee, coming together as a full family to argue about it and fight for you in the time of need. Ashley will bring in the food, Danny will bring the jokes, and Terrell will bring the photography, so you'll have some behind the scenes. So make sure that you guys get your applications in and ask questions if you have questions. And thank you guys for joining us today. Thank you for being my first guest back after a long July break. And so we're gonna actually go do work now. We cannot wait to have you guys all back in here. Sign up for the programs. Go on our website, startuptucson.com. If you are a mentor that identifies as BIPOC, we need you. So fill out the mentor form, email us, call us, whatever you need to do. We want to hear from you. What's up, Danny?
It's sorry. So just so people know, it's 50% ownership has to identify as BIPOC. So it can be shared ownership with two people. And if one identifies as BIPOC, in other programs, they say 51%. So this is 50%. So just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you, Danny. All right, guys, have a great day. Thank you for joining us for coffee, and we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.